One type of interactive assignment that I love to use is a drag and drop activity, and that would be an activity that you can create in a Google Slides file. Let me show you the process of how we can do that. So here's a Google Slides file of a flower diagram. In another video, I showed you how to take a diagram and make a numbered version that we could export as an image. But let's say I want to take this diagram and make it part of an interactive activity in a Slides file. The first thing I'm going to do is create a copy of this file because I don't want to lose the numbered diagram that I created. So under File, I'm going to choose Make a Copy. In this case, it's the entire presentation. And we'll call this Flower Diagram Drag and Drop. It opens the new file in a separate tab in your browser, and now I'm ready to start editing it to make it interactive. One thing I like to do with my interactive files is to change the size of this slide. Right now it looks like the size of a PowerPoint slide, but I'm going to go to Page Setup under the File menu and change it from widescreen to a custom size. And let's say we want to make it look like a sheet of paper, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. One reason I prefer this size just for my assignments is that it fits students' screens better. A lot of my students like to do their assignments on their phones, but you could use another size that works the best for the assignment that you're creating. Now, it's messed up the placement of all those little text boxes I had added, but that's okay. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to hold down the Shift button and click on the flower to unselect the flower, but keep everything else selected. And I'm going to delete all of those numbered text boxes because we don't need them anymore. Let's zoom in so that we can actually see what we're doing. And there's a couple things that we need to do at this point. First of all, I need boxes, text boxes with each of these words in it so that the students will have boxes they can drag around. And then I also need to cover up these words with little white boxes so that the students can't see the name. I'm going to make the text boxes with the names first while I can still see the names so that I can make sure that I get all of the words that I'm going to need for the students to drag and drop. So I'm going to choose text box and just create a little rectangle and type in the word. I can make the box a little bit larger so it fits the whole word. And I want to change the font here, so I'm going to double click on the word, and they've got a list of fonts to choose from. You could have fun looking fonts, or I usually go with something more plain for my older students, but you can pick whatever you want and make the word a little bit bigger, and that's pretty good. It looks like it doesn't fit in the box, so you could drag the bottom of the box down. The students will be able to see the whole word even if we're covering up part of it like that. Now I'm going to take this basic box with the font that I like and copy it and paste it and replace the name until I have all of these words ready to go. Alright, now I'm going to move all those text boxes that I created down toward the bottom of the slide. So let me zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to select everything, and then again I'll hold the Shift button down while I click on the flower so that it doesn't select that. And I'm going to move these down toward the bottom of the slide. You can get them all grouped a little bit closer together. Alright, then I can re-zoom in and work on covering up all of these words so that the students won't be able to see them. You can do that with either a text box that you change the fill of or insert a shape. I'll choose the shape and draw a rectangle around the word. I'm going to change the fill color to white so it completely blends in, and also this pencil button can change the border. Right now if I click away you can see it has a black border, and I want it to be white or transparent so that the students don't even see that there was something there. And now I'm going to copy and paste this box and cover up all of these other words. Once I'm done with that, I'm ready to scroll toward the top of the slide and add in a couple text boxes with the title and instructions. All right, now we're missing one last important piece before we can assign this to our students. Remember that they're going to get, each of them, a copy of this file, and they can manipulate it, drag things around, and we want to make sure that they can't change anything on the slide except for the location of the name of each flower part. So they need to be able to drag these boxes down here and move them around. But if I leave the file as it is, they would also be able to select this picture and move it around accidentally, the little white boxes that are covering the names, the title. Right now, all of that is easily selectable, and we want to change that. So let me zoom out a little bit so I can see a little bit more of the slide. And what I'm going to do is select all the parts of the slide that I don't want them to be able to move. I'm going to choose Edit and Cut, which is kind of like copy, but it also deletes it from this location. And I'm going to paste those elements on the slide master. This is what we use on these sorts of Google Slides files when we want to make something inaccessible to the students. So under the slide menu, choose Edit Master. And this is the master slide for the slide that I'm on. I'm going to delete the text boxes that they had, and I'm going to choose Edit and Paste those elements that I had before. I can exit out of the Edit Master view by hitting the X at the top. And now, if you try to move or click on these different parts, you can't do anything to them. If you wanted to change them, you'd have to go back to Slide and Edit Master, and now you can select and change things around and move them if you need to. But in the normal view, they're now fixed in place. The only thing that the students can do is select these text boxes and move them around. So this file is ready to assign to the students. The last thing I'll do before I assign it is make an answer key. To make an answer key, I'm going to create a copy of this document. So I'm going to go to File, and up at the top, make a copy of the presentation. And I'm going to take away that copy of at the beginning of the word and just add answer key at the end. And I'll make a new file, a second file in my Google Drive that looks just the same as where I left it, but I'm actually going to drag and drop all the parts that I can use as an answer key. So I'm going to do that now. And now I have a completed answer key file. Let me switch back to our student version and make a couple last little notes. First of all, I would probably do a better job of mixing up these words. While you're filling out the answer key, you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like for the students as they're doing the slide, and I had the words pretty close lined up to where they would be, so I'd mix them up a little bit more. I had also found an issue with them being a little bit too far down compared to where the flower diagram was, so I might consider putting these up near the instructions and moving the flower diagram down. I can't do that right now because it's on the master, so I'd have to choose Slide, Edit Master. You'll notice all those labels are gone because they're not part of the master. And I'm going to select the diagram and also all the little white boxes that were on top of it and move it down just a little bit. And now I've got all my flower parts in the blank space, close to the instructions, so the students probably will zone in better on what they're supposed to do, and they can move them around. All right, that's a drag and drop activity for Google Slides.